My character is William Molyneux, who was a vicious bastard in the Revolution. Don't know what really drew me to him other than Son of Liberty. Now, we're starting here, standing in the harbor. This is Faneuil Hall, Merchants Row. I really loved it because I do love American history. It's like my favorite thing to like talk about just in general. It's like fascinating to me, all these things. I mean, the mass overthrow of a government is pretty cool. And to think that just a couple guys did it without really a military, and it just gets overwhelming.
Welcome all of you to Ghosts and Gravestones. My name's Petersen, and I'm your tour guide. Now allow me to start off our little tour by telling you my favorite story. The story about me! The devil cursed me to do something terrible. Something horrible. Something that would make me cruel and make me evil. I have to work in tourism!
My name is Stephen Johnson. I play Thraxicon the Deathbringer, and I work here at Ghosts and Gravestones, Boston's best ghost tour. As far as Boston goes, well, that's one of the cool things, is that there is a ton of history here, and there's a ton of familiarity to it. You know, any great city has great history, but people know our history. It really gives us an opportunity that, at least for the United States, to talk about some really old places, some old graveyards. Some of our graveyards are around 400 years old. It's pretty cool.
Boston Common has many features to it. This is cattle grazing ground behind you for about 200 years. If you walked 150 yards in that direction, you walk into the ocean. Where the children's playground is where they used to execute everybody. Boston Common has a lot of weird things to it.
I happen to have a noose, and I'm a stickler for historical reenactments. But I cannot kill myself. Who would give the tour? I have to kill one of you. Evelyn here, in order for her to be a criminal, she has to have committed a crime. What is Elvin? I didn't even get to finish the sentence. Prostitute! All right, so that's your prostitute. Choke for a while. Go ahead, this is you. Go, choke. What the hell? Don't make me help you.
What you have to do is you have to learn a little bit about from what your crowd is. So not every crowd is the same. Tonight we had a really sort of boisterous crowd, but sometimes you have a quieter crowd. And what you have to do is you have to gauge things.
You kind of can figure out what can get a tour to be interesting and what can be fun with bringing your character into it.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't see that.
Oh, that's good. This is Ebenezer McIntosh, the leader of the South End gang. We had a truce at one point. He's been drinking. Paul Revere said, "This is the sweetest bell I ever cast. Best bell I ever made." He gave it to King's Chapel, and it was illegal from being rung for years because it was next to our old City Hall, which is now Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. There's no easy way to tell you that.
Something started near here and ended here. Not the Finagle Bagel, but the Mass General Hospital, the building around it.
I'm Andrew Jackson. You insulted my wife. You called her a bigamist. You said she had 2 husbands in print, and I was viciously mad about this. He's right. She does have 2 husbands.
Mary Sullivan's body was found right here. Just up above this building right here, the Paramount Deli. She was found in that second apartment up, right up there. There are many things that I will tell you on this tour, but I will not tell you the state that her body was found.
So we like to take some of the elements of a haunted house and blend them with some of the elements of a sort of your regular history tour.
Point at me, and I do this. My arm's up, you fire, you only have 1 bullet, it goes right on an inch from my heart. I don't like to lose, and you just shot me and insulted my wife, and I have a history of a hot temper. Do you think I'm gonna do something bad? Absolutely. I recock my pistol, I take another shot, and I kill you! So you win the duel, but you're dead. And I've seen tour guides out there in different states that are like that, where they're just like telling a story that's totally wrong. It's like, here's where it is. This is where Paul Revere said, "No more tea for you, Mr. King." And you're like, none of that is real. Is where the lobster roll was invented, right here near Faneuil Hall.
But whatever was happening inside the Charles Gate Hotel was violent. And when Emerson College took it over, students started getting hurt.
Our tour is incredibly factual. Our tour is 100% historically accurate. Everything we talk about is true. We just do it in a different kind of style.
It got so bad that the dean of Emerson College outlawed the use of Ouija boards and tarot cards, thinking that would be enough to close the doorway between your world and ours.
You know, I don't want to be a jerk about anything, but like when someone yells something at you when you're in the middle of talking, it gets tiresome. Oh, cool, a pilgrim. Hey, you're off by 100 years, but sure. Just because I'm dressed like this doesn't mean I'm not a human being. That it's like trying to earn a living. It's just like some things in the job you just get tired of. They didn't have cell phones back then. They didn't have tea back then. Actually, they did. Do you remember the Boston Tea Party?
I don't know if you heard me, but I was serious in the fact that people ask me if I'm Paul Revere all the time. They look at me. Like, look at me. Like, people ask me all the time, like, are you Paul Revere? They think anybody that is wearing an outfit that is slightly off from what you guys are wearing is Paul Revere.
I'm like, someone's, Paul Revere, what are you doing here? I see you, Paul Revere. What's going on? It's like, you don't like, just look him right in the eye and just tell him like, you're the only one that sees me right now.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you meant like what it was like to give a ghost tour in a city, because that's crazy in and of itself.
You're not on Plymouth Plantation. Those guys do an awesome job there, and it's fantastic. But they don't have a homeless population. I mean, recently where we start the tours, 2 rangers were stabbed. So it's becoming this dangerous occupation of all things.
One time I was on the tour and we had the windows open, and somebody who was on the street took their, they were like waving at the trolley and they were all nice, and then they took their teeth out and they tried to give them to me.
I wanted to point out one little headstone before we got in, James Otis. So James Otis was an orator for the Sons of Liberty. He gave many, many speeches while he was alive. Of course, then growing to have enemies amongst the ranks of the British soldiers. So after one of his speeches, one of these regulars actually came up behind him and sucker punches him, knocks him to the floor, beats him half to death with that new cane he bought, and there's about 6 guys that were there, set up, waiting for this moment to happen. Now this did not kill him. However, it caved in his skull and did cause severe brain damage. So he's got brain damage, he's got manic depression, he's got poison lead in his brain, causing him to have these manic fits. He loses his law practice, he can't publicly speak really well anymore. He was known to then wander about the streets of Boston late at night, murmuring and shouting all these weird, incoherent nonsense things. He is insane, oftentimes arrested running naked around the streets of Boston. Now, one of the phrases he was known to say was that the best way for a man to die is to be struck by lightning. When God has seen that I have fulfilled my purpose, may I leave this world like a flash of lightning. How do you think James Otis died? He dies in 1783 when he is struck by a bolt of lightning.
Some people may only be here for like Australians be like, I'm only here for like an hour and then I gotta get on a plane and go 36 hours back to Australia. You know, like, and you only are with them for an hour and they have to leave the tour, but you try to make an impact and you wonder like if they think about you. I hope that I've touched people in some way with like my humor and my bringing like my own unique voice into it and telling the story of like something I really care about.
I love this stuff. I am so passionate about this place and what we do here. You have somebody that's in character that we can sort of be a little bit more off the cuff, and we can sort of joke around a little bit more and be a little scarier. That's just our thing. That's what we do.
See you in the morning!
It started out late last night, I was trying